Today we talked about the Qin Dynasty, which is spelled with a Q, confusingly enough. Sometimes you'll also see it spelled with an X, X-I-N, but it's the Qin Dynasty after Emperor Qin, Qin Shi Huangdi. So the Qin Dynasty. Today's notes is pictures and captions. So the first event is Emperor Qin united all of China. And we have the Xia Dynasty at the beginning. That's kind of the legendary dynasty with the dragons. The first actual documented historical dynasty is the Shang Dynasty. Then we have the Zhou Dynasty. And then a period of 200 years of civil wars called the Warring States period. Emperor Qin put an end to that. He conquered the 7 warring kingdoms and united all of China under his leadership. He also standardized money and the language because prior to that, each kingdom had their own dialect of Chinese and their own money, so it was very difficult to communicate or to trade. He standardized it all, so it was the same. He also suppressed learning, and that was because he kind of became obsessed with finding a way to live forever, and so he invited a lot of magicians to come live at his court, and the academics of China, like the wise people and the teachers and things, criticized him for that, and so he had them all killed. And he also had the books burned. He burned a lot of the records, except for books that were about farming or magic, because they were such important topics. But all other records and information was burned, which is pretty sad. We lost a lot of information. Emperor Qin also began work on the Great Wall, and this was not unlike Egypt, where the pyramids were built by happy farmers who were well-fed and took pride in their work. The Great Wall, building the Great Wall, was a punishment. Political prisoners, people who had spoken against the emperor, poor people who couldn't pay taxes, criminals, slaves were all forced to work on the Great Wall. And it was a fortified wall. The point of it was to keep invasions out, invasions of people from the north like the Mongols and the Huns. But, of course, the Mongols were very mobile. They moved around very quickly. They were nomadic people in a horse culture, and a stationary defense thing like a wall is not going to be effective. So a lot of energy, a lot of money, and a lot of effort and time and lives went into building of the Great Wall, but honestly it just wasn't effective ever at keeping the people from the northern territories out. And the last one, the fifth one, is that Emperor Qin was buried with a terracotta army. This is in the ancient capital of China, Xi'an, and he was buried there with this huge army of terracotta clay statues, thousands and thousands of soldiers, and we're probably familiar with these soldiers here, but there's also archers and cavalry. There's additional rooms. This photograph is only one room. It's the biggest room, but there's a lot of other rooms they found as well that are filled with soldiers and other army people, because he thought, this is going to help him to be the emperor in the next life.